Once upon a time, a spacecraft named Rosetta was launched into the night sky. A long, long journey lay ahead of her to uncover the mysteries of our solar system. Rosetta carried a little passenger, the lander Philae. It had taken many, many years to dream up this mission. Their journey was inspired by stories they had heard from grandfather Giotto. Long, long ago, men and women on Earth gazed in wonder at comets that appeared in the sky. What were these mysterious objects? Some thought they might be caused by Earth breathing into the sky, but no one knew for sure. Until a Danish astronomer named Tycho Brahe discovered that comets are very far away, much, much further from Earth than the moon. How could we learn more about these distant objects? By trying to get close to them. I was one of the lucky spacecraft to fly very close to the most famous comet of all, Halley's Comet. Halley's Comet is very special. It is named after Edmund Halley, who discovered that many comets come back regularly to our sky. He predicted that one of those comets would return after 76 years. And it did. Time and time again, Halley's Comet has come back right on schedule every time. The last time, in 1986, I was there. Together with a bunch of friends from lots of other countries, we set off to welcome this legendary comet. I was the bravest of all and flew less than 600 kilometers from the comet's nucleus. It was a harsh place, but the sight was amazing, and I sent pictures back home. Many more spacecraft have gone looking for comets after us, like your cousin Stardust, who flew by Comet 81P Wild, collected dust particles from the shiny tail, and sent them back home to be studied. Or one of your other cousins, Deep Impact, who made a crater in Comet 9P Temple to see what's under the surface. Stardust flew by this comet a few years later to look at this famous crater. We have learned a lot about comets, but much more is still to be discovered. Comets hold many secrets about the early days of our solar system. How did planets form? How did water arrive on Earth? And you, Rosetta and Philae, are going to find out by doing what no space probe has ever attempted: orbit a comet and land on it. Now it's time to write your story. With a historic mission ahead of them, Rosetta and Philae traveled for 10 years. They've been dreaming of comets and the adventure that lay ahead, and they're about to reach their destination. Rosetta was on her way to the far-off comet Churyumov-Gerasimenko. Rosetta needed lots of energy to get there, and got some from Earth and Mars by flying around them, seeing some beautiful sights. Along the way, she also went to places spacecraft hadn't visited before. Rosetta found a diamond-shaped object, the asteroid Steins, and took amazing pictures for everyone on Earth to see. The diamond disappeared as Rosetta sped on. Further along the way, a giant appeared, Lutetia, an ancient rock 100 kilometers tall and 100 kilometers wide with big craters on the surface. Rosetta sent more pictures home of the amazing encounter. This was still only the beginning of the adventure, but far from the energy of the sun, Rosetta was very tired and needed to rest. Still traveling through space, she fell into a deep sleep. A sleep lasting for 2 years, 7 months, and 12 days. Now it's time for Rosetta to wake up and open her eyes. "Wake up, Rosetta! You and Philae have a comet to chase. Wake up! Wake up, Rosetta!" Rosetta had been traveling in space towards a comet called 67P Churyumov-Gerasimenko for 10 years. The journey was long, and she fell into a deep sleep that lasted for 2 years, 7 months, and 12 days. But on the 20th of January 2014, with the help of everyone on Earth shouting, "Wake up, Rosetta!" she opened her eyes and let everyone back home know she was okay. There was much celebration, and Rosetta's team quickly set to work, checking her health after the long slumber. There was still a long way to travel to reach the comet, but Rosetta had plenty to do. There was no time to lose. All of the experiments that were packed on board had to be woken up, along with the lander, Philae. When they got to the comet, they would find out all about its surface and about the dust and gas around it. And the scientists back home would fit all these pieces together like a jigsaw puzzle to learn about how comets work. Before long, Rosetta was able to see the comet in the distance. She was getting closer and closer, but there were still many challenges ahead. The route to the comet was complicated, and Rosetta had to carry out some difficult maneuvers. She had to change her speed to match the comet's, otherwise she would fly past. One false move and she might not make it. There were 10 maneuvers to complete, but Rosetta was determined. As she checked them off one by one, the comet got closer and closer. It was the most wonderful sight that Rosetta had ever seen. There was only a little way to go now, but she knew that once she got there, there would be no time for rest. She and Philae had the most important jobs of their entire lives ahead of them. "Rosetta, are we there yet? 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 Rosetta, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Over 10 years had passed since Rosetta and Philae launched on their exciting mission to Comet 67P Churyumov-Gerasimenko. After 3 months investigating the comet from orbit, it was time to send Philae to its surface. A long night of final preparations lay ahead of them. Finally, the moment everyone had been waiting for arrived. As the world held its breath, Rosetta moved into the exact position needed to make sure Philae would reach the landing site that scientists on Earth had picked earlier in the mission. Philae and Rosetta were sad to be going their separate ways, but excited at the same time, because this is what they had been waiting to do. Philae was away. It would take 7 hours to reach the surface, but Philae wanted to get started on his measurements right away. He could soon see the surface in incredible detail, and the moment he had been dreaming of had finally arrived. He had reached the surface of the comet. But all was not right. His harpoons did not fire. Philae realized he couldn't relax yet. He was rising from the surface again. Philae was scared he might drift off the comet completely. This was not in the plan. But eventually, he came back down again. However, as he looked around, he realized he had landed in a completely unexpected location. Philae immediately set to work on studying his new home. It took him just over 2 days to conduct all the experiments he had brought with him. After all his hard work, Philae began to feel tired, so he made sure to send all the data he had collected back to Rosetta. As the sun set over Philae's new home, he fell into a deep sleep, safe in the knowledge that he did his main job well and that his family of comet-chasing heroes would be proud of his achievement. Who knows? Perhaps one day enough sunlight would fall on his new landing site and wake him up so that he could carry on investigating this incredible world. And so, as the comet moved over closer to the sun, Rosetta prepared for the next part of her exciting adventure.